make-up story. I have always said that Mark Cuban is a loser. Time will prove me right. Ranson, on the other hand, is a good guy.
Are you ready?
When somebody hits you, hit him back harder. With Rosie O'Donnell, it's a lot different. Rosie O'Donnell is a pig. She is a degenerate. She attacked Kelly Ripa, who's a wonderful person, because Clay Aiken put his hand in her mouth to shut her up. Rosie attacked Kelly for that incident. Kelly's nice, and she didn't really attack Rosie back. Rosie attacked Danny DeVito. She talked about him as if he was an alcoholic because he went out drinking with George Clooney the night before a show. He's not an alcoholic. I know him. He is a friend of mine. I called him, and I said, Danny, she called you an alcoholic. Why don't you do something about it? This is before I had a problem with her. I told him, go on television and announce that she's bad news, and you're not an alcoholic. He said, I don't want to get involved. I said, all right, you've got a different personality than I do. One day, I got a call from a newspaper reporter telling me that Rosie went on this ranting, raving lunatic tirade about you for about 10 minutes on The View. Basically, she attacked me because I gave Tara Conner, the then current Miss USA, a second chance when everybody thought I was going to fire her. She insulted me in many names and said some very ugly things about me. Tara Conner is a very lovely girl, but she had some problems adjusting to the pressures of New York. She started doing drugs and drinking too much. It was causing lots of difficulties. But after talking with Tara, I decided to give her a second chance. She's been to rehab, and now she's doing fine. She thanked me for saving her life. Rosie O'Donnell, however, did not like that I gave Tara a second chance. She went on television, and the venom came pouring out. A friend of mine called and said, boy, does she hate you. I've known Rosie for a long time. She has always been bad news. She was fired from her television show, The Rosie O'Donnell Show, because of bad ratings. She made a total disaster of her magazine. Her meddling and viciousness destroyed the morale of everyone that worked for her magazine. The publisher of the company, who was a rising star, ended up losing his job. Her Broadway play was a total mess. She's an unattractive person, both inside and out. Rosie is about as low as you can go. She's a bully who has been that way for a long time. Now I had a choice. I could attack back, or I could let it pass. And I chose to attack her so hard she would rue the day she decided to attack me. The media was very interested in my response. I gave them an earful. I got calls from Entertainment Tonight, Inside Edition, and others asking, do you have a response? Yes, I had a response. I said, Rosie O'Donnell is disgusting, both inside and out. Take a look at her. She's a slob. She talks like a truck driver. Her show failed. Her magazine was a total catastrophe. She got sued. So probably I'll sue her, because it would be fun. I'd like to take some money out of her pockets. I said, Rosie is a very unattractive woman who is a bully. Rosie is a loser, and ultimately, The View will fail because of Rosie. Barbara Walters made a mistake in hiring her, and she told me, Donald, don't get into the mud with pigs. One morning, I went on the Today Show to talk about The Apprentice, but instead, Meredith Vieira started asking me questions about Rosie. Right off, he asked me, Donald, why did you attack Rosie? What nerve! It was Rosie who attacked me. I was just fighting back. Then she asked, is it true that you said she was crude? I said, no, I never said that. It's not strong enough. I said, she's a total degenerate. Then she asked, is it true that you called her a fat pig? I said, no, I called her a pig. It is funny. I called her a total degenerate and nobody cared. But when they thought I called her fat, they were all going ballistic. Rosie said her children came up to her and said, "Mommy, Mommy, he called you the F word." But I don't believe her children ever said that. I replied to Meredith, I didn't say she was fat, because that's politically incorrect. But come to think of it, Meredith, is she fat? Meredith evaded the question with, "Well, I'd rather not answer that." I pressed the point. "Meredith, I want to know, is she fat?" She sidesteps again with, "I don't think I should answer that." Then I said, "Assuming I did call her a fat pig, do you think I'd be wrong?" "I didn't, but do you think I'd be wrong?" Then she said, "Let's get off this subject." That just shows you that these TV reporters really have no guts. I mean, I love Meredith. She's very nice, but she did the wrong thing. Then she came back with another stupid question. "Donald, why do you always talk about Rosie?" I said, "Because you asked me questions. I didn't bring Rosie up." It was the dumbest interview I think I've ever had in my life. About that time, Rosie announced that she suffers from depression. Reporters called me for comment. Rather than saying, "I have no comment," or as most people would say, "Oh, is that too bad? Oh, that's so bad." I said, "I think I can cure her depression. If she'd stop looking in the mirror, I think she'd stop being so depressed." That went on Entertainment Tonight, and the reporter said, "Oh, it was a horrible statement. It was horrible." "What's so horrible about it? She attacks me and tells ugly lies about me, but I'm not allowed to attack back?" Here's the point. A few days later, Rosie is interviewed on the red carpet. The reporter asked, "Rosie, Donald said you shouldn't look in a mirror. It will solve your problems with depression. Do you have a comment?" She replied, "I have no comment. I don't want to talk about him." You know why? Because I hit that horrible woman right smack in the middle of the eyes. It's true. She'll talk about Kelly Ripa, she'll talk about Danny DeVito or Tom Selleck, but you know, when you hit a bully back, they always fold. I learned it in high school. You've got to hit a bully really hard, really strongly, right between the eyes. Some people would have ignored her insults, but I decided to fight back and make her regret the day she decided to unload on me. That's why I tell people, get even. This is not your typical advice. Get even. But this is real life advice. If you don't get even, you are just a schmuck. I really mean it, too. For some reason, athletes like me, and they call me a lot. I know many athletes that have lost a tremendous amount of money. They're young kids who make a lot of money at a very young age. And they lose most of it before they retire. They have nothing left. It's all gone because they have managers, accountants, lawyers, agents, and so-called financial advisors that take it away. To them, it's like taking candy from a baby. An athlete friend of mine called me one day and told me he had evidence that his manager had stolen all his money. He's a great athlete who played for years in the NBA. He said, "Mr. Trump, with the information I found, I have this guy cold, right?" This athlete is very famous, and you all know his name, even if you're not a big fan. I said, "Let's go get that butter, you know what. Let's go get him. I can help you get him. I got the nastiest lawyer that you could imagine. We're going to sue your manager's ass off. We're going to hurt him so badly, he's going to come back to you on his knees." I added, "I'm going to go get this guy for you, and he's going to suffer, and you're going to get a lot of your money back, whatever this guy hasn't squandered." Then he said, "Oh, Mr. Trump, don't do it. I don't want to do that." I said, "What do you mean you don't want to do it? Why?" He said, "Well, I don't want to get involved." I said, "Why?" Here is a great athlete who lost all his money, and yet he does not want to get involved in going after his manager who robbed him blind. He did not steal nice and easy or make a little mistake. He robbed him. I said, "Listen, you have to do this, or you're the dumbest person I've met in a long time." He said, "I can't do it." I said, "That's okay, but never, ever call me again because you're a schmuck." And I have not spoken to the guy since. He calls me once in a while, but I don't ever talk to him because he's a loser. You have to show people you can't be pushed around. His next manager, whoever it may be, and he does not have long to go in his career, will probably steal the money he's making now. Why shouldn't he? This guy's not going to come after him because he's a jerk. So do not hesitate to go after people. This is important, not only for the person you're going after, but for other people to know not to mess around with you. When other people see that you don't take crap and see you are really going after somebody for wronging you, they will respect you. Always have a good reason to go after someone. Do not do it without a good reason. When you are wrong, go after those people because it's a good feeling and because other people will see you doing it. Getting even is not always a personal thing. It's just a part of doing business. An example is my dealings with Merv Griffin. Merv Griffin recently passed away. He was an interesting character. He and I fought quite a bit, but in the end, I think he gained the mutual respect. He would tell people that Donald Trump was a genius. I think he even wrote it in his book. But one thing never changed. Merv would state to everybody that he beat me in a deal, when in actuality he knew better, and admitted such to me. I sold him a company called Resorts International for a very high price. I had most of the voting stock. There was nothing he could have done unless I was willing to sell. But his price was so high that it would have been insane not to take his offer. Immediately after the deal was made, Merv went around telling everybody that he beat me. I beat Donald Trump at the deal, he would shout. Newspapers and magazines were calling me and exclaiming that Merv beat Donald in a deal. I'll never forget telling one of the reporters, "Deals are funny. Tell me about it in 5 years." But in the meantime, I got a very high price, much more than he would have had to pay, because I would have taken far less. In any event, the deal turned out to be a disaster for Merv, and to the best of my knowledge, he filed for Chapter 11 on this transaction at least 2 times. I believe that's why he called me a genius. But I can also say he was an amazing competitor. Very nice and smooth on the outside, but a real tiger from within. He did say at a certain event, "I used to have a lot of coconut," jokingly referring to how much the Resorts International deal with me cost him. Because of business, Merv and I were not friends, but I will miss him. I love getting even when I get screwed by some. Yes, it's true. People still try to take me for a ride, and sometimes they succeed. Rarely. But when they do, I go after them. You know what? People do not want to play around with me as much as they do with others. They know if they do, they are really in for a big fight. Always get even. When you're in business, you need to get even with people who screw you. You need to screw them back 15 times harder. You do it not only to get the person who messed with you, but also to show the others who are watching what will happen to them if they mess with you. If someone attacks you, do not hesitate. Go for the jugular. Attack them back in space. Zanker's take. Life is full of losers who love to mess with people, especially people who are successful. I think it comes down to one of 2 things, jealousy or greed, or a combination. Sometimes there's no money involved. As Donald says, they just do it for sport. One time, a company came out with a complete knockoff of the Logo and started promoting it in direct competition with me in New York City. They were basically stealing our customers. I sent a letter asking the owner to stop ripping us off. They refused, so I immediately sued for copyright violations and trademark infringement. When we went to court, the judge asked them if they wanted to settle out of court. They said no. So the judge ruled in the Learning Annex's favor and set the other company's fine so high that it could not pay it and had to go under. Oh, I felt very good about this. You have to go after people who mess with you. Persistence is crucial. My whole company was at stake. I could not lie down and just take it. I had to fight back. I saw the fight all... all the way to the New York State Court of Appeals, the highest court in New York. I kept fighting until I never stopped until you get it. Another time in 1980, when my business was really getting off the ground, I hired a speaker who was a best-selling author and expert on relationships. She was scheduled to speak at the Next in Washington, D.C. on a Saturday morning. Her flight was due to arrive from Los Angeles on Friday night. We had hundreds of people signed up for her class. At 11 p.m., she called to tell me that her flight had been canceled and that she would not be able to teach the class. I was in a real bind because these people needed help and were looking forward to the class. It was too late to contact all those people and tell them that the event was canceled. They would come to the class the next day and find out that it was not going to happen. That was not a good thing for my business or my reputation. I checked with the airlines and found out that the flight was not canceled at all. It was clear to me that she had just decided at the last minute not to honor her commitment. She would rather disrespect me and all the people who had signed up for the class. If she would have owned up to what she did and apologized for causing these problems, I would have let it go. But she treated me and the students who were attending the class like we didn't matter. When that happened, I started making a list of people that hurt me. I put her name on the list. Then I sat back and waited for a chance to get revenge. Sometimes my list is short, other times it grows. But I always have my list, and trust me, you never want to be on my list. Sometime later, a TV producer called me. This same author was being considered for a TV show about relationships. She gave my name as a reference. I gave this woman the worst possible recommendation you could imagine. I told them she was a terrible person, an extremely dishonest and irresponsible person. Later, I was happy to hear that she never got that show off the ground. I'm not sure if my bad reference had something to do with it, but I certainly hope so. She has called many times to try to get booked for classes at the Learning Annex to promote her book, but I never let her speak. I never forgot how rude and disrespectful she acted toward me and my students. I never let things like that pass. I always did even. Recently, I had to fire an employee for incompetence. I hate firing people, but this guy did a terrible job, and I had to let him. A few weeks later, I got a letter from an attorney stating he was suing me for wrongful termination. There was completely no justification for this suit, but it would cost me a bundle to defend. So I decided to get even instead. LAD. I called my tech guy into my office and asked him to look through all the deleted files on the computer that this person had used while he worked for me, and to see what he had been up to while he was supposedly working for me. My computer expert came back with some interesting stuff. Apparently, This guy had been surfing hundreds of porn sites from his work computer. I had my lawyer send a letter to his lawyer explaining that if he were to go to court, all this information about him would be made public. That I did not care one bit about all the scorn and embarrassment he would suffer. I never heard from him again. It just shows that you have to play hardball when someone tries to bully you. Always make a list of people who hurt you. Then sit back and wait for the appropriate time to get revenge. When they least expect it, go after them with a vengeance. Go for their jugular. Now, if you get a sincere apology from someone and the check you had expected, accept it and let it go. But if not, just wait for the opportunity, and when it comes, hit them hard. To sum it up, as a child, your parents and teachers told you not to fight and to try to get along with people. They meant well, trying to protect you from the harsh realities of the world. But in the world of grown-ups, things are different. Many bullies out there try to push you away. They can get very nasty. When a bully comes after you, do not fold up and play nice. Do not lie down and take it. Get even. This is not your typical advice, but it is real-life advice. If you do not get even, you're just a schmuck. Most business writers won't be so blunt and honest with you about getting even. They know it's the truth, but won't tell you because they want people to think of them as a nice person. But I don't like to mince words. When you're wrong and you do nothing about it, you aren't nice. You're a schmuck. That's why I say when you are wronged, go after those people, because it's a good feeling, and because other people will see you doing it. I love it, because I get screwed all the time, so I go after people. You know what? People don't want to mess with me as much as others. They know if they do, they are really in for a big fight. Always get even. Points to remember. When somebody screws you, screw them back in spades. Forgive good people, but never forgive someone who is bad. When someone attacks you publicly, always strike back. If you want to stop the bully, hit them right between the eyes. They'll think twice about doing it again. Even some of the toughest top athletes are schmucks who let people steal from them and are afraid to get even. Always have a good reason to get even. Go for the jugular so that people watching will not want to mess with you. If someone knows they made a mistake and they apologize, forgive them and move on, but never trust them again. Chapter 7. Big Bo. It's very important to know when it is your time. I learned an important lesson of momentum and timing from William Levitt, the amazing father of suburbia. William Levitt became so famous that he made the cover of Time magazine on July 3rd, 1951. It all started after the end of World War II. Prior to World War II, there was no housing industry as we know it today. Just local builders who could not build more than a few houses a year. That way of building was much too slow and cumbersome to keep up with the swelling demand for housing brought on by the millions of servicemen and women returning home after the war. People were so hard up for housing that one couple camped out for 2 days in a New York City department store window to publicize their plight. William Levitt solved the post-World War II housing crisis by applying assembly line techniques to housing construction. He was able to put up large numbers of houses quickly and cheaply. Levitt's houses were so cheap that bus drivers, teachers, and mill workers could afford them. He was a brilliant builder who created modern building methods and was responsible for the invention of modern suburbia as we know it today. He broke down the construction process into 27 distinct operations and built houses using specialized teams: carpentry, tiling, painting, roofing, and so on. Bill Levitt was very hungry. He was on top of every detail. When he was building 17,000 houses at a time in Levittown, New York, he would go himself after a day of construction to pick up nails. He would make sure his workers picked up sawdust because they could make money selling it to other companies. He kept lumber costs down by buying his own forests and sawmills. He cut out the distributor markup by buying appliances directly from manufacturers. He even manufactured his own nails. Levitt insisted on perfection. Every Saturday, he would drive his black Cadillac around the streets of Levittown, checking on the doings in the town he created. He listened for gossip and made sure everything was in tip-top condition. Levitt built 140,000 modest, low, and middle-class homes all over the United States and Canada, including New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, and Georgia. In 1968, Levitt sold his company to ITT, a big conglomerate run by Harold Geneen, who was a great businessman. Levitt received $92 million in stock, which is like $2 billion today. Levitt retired and married a beautiful wife, some people would say a trophy wife. Then he proceeded to spend most of his money on luxuries, like his 237-foot yacht, La Belle Simone, named after his third wife, and a 30-room mansion in Mill Neck, New York. He lived very easily and peacefully. As part of the deal he made when he sold his company, he agreed not to build anything in the United States for 10 years. However, he started some building projects in locations such as Iran, Venezuela, and Nigeria. He used his ITT stock as collateral for the loans he took out to build his new project. In the meantime, after ITT took over Levitt's housing business, ITT did not manage it as well as Levitt had. Instead of using ingenuity to solve problems, this huge conglomerate tried to solve problems by throwing a lot of money at them. ITT did not know what it was doing. It wasted a lot of money. It did not go around picking up nails. It did not care about the details. It recklessly squandered money by buying land in many different places before discovering that the land could not be zoned. ITT was doing all the things that a big company does and was losing money, but it didn't care. Within 4 years, the ITT stock lost 90% of its value. When its foreign projects got into financial trouble, the company was left with millions of dollars in debt. After 15 years, ITT decided to put Levitt's company up for sale. Levitt, wanting back into the action, bought his own company back from ITT. Levitt started building houses in the United States again, but he never regained his previous glory. He ran into a tough recession and many other problems that he could not solve. He ended up going bankrupt and lost everything. In 1993, I was invited to a party for 100 ultra-successful people, hosted by a powerful businessman in his Fifth Avenue apartment. After my troubles of the early 1990s had subsided, I was starting to do well. I had purchased 40 Wall Street and was building Trump International Hotel and Tower, and I was invited to the party, even though I do not drink. At the party, an old man was sitting in the corner. I walked up to talk to him and realized it was William Levitt, the great home builder. He was about 82 years old. Nobody else was even talking to him, because they were all talking among themselves and doing deals. I was shocked that he was there. As a real estate person, I was very interested in talking to him, because I had always respected his work. I said, "Hi, Mr. Levitt, how are you doing?" He said, "Not well, Donald, not well at all." I said, "I know, I've been reading that things have been very tough for you." He said, "It's been very, very tough and very humiliating." I was curious, and I said, "What exactly went wrong?" He said, "Donald, I lost my momentum." This is the same brilliant, dynamic man who built 140,000 homes and revolutionized the housing industry. The same man, only he had lost his momentum and lost everything. That's the only time I ever heard that statement made. We are all capable of losing our momentum, and if that comes, you have to know what to do about it, because there is no reason to put yourself in that position. I thought his insight was so brilliant, it was so amazing and very sad. He died shortly thereafter with nothing, because he lost his momentum. I learned a great lesson from William Levitt that night. Since then, I have devoted a lot of time to studying and applying the power of momentum to my own life and business. I do not ever want that, to lose my momentum. The lesson applies whether you are in real estate or not. When you start toward a worthy goal, like landing a great job on Wall Street, or becoming the next mayor of New York, or building the world's tallest building, you have not yet built any momentum. You have no contact and no track record. Nobody is calling you, and nothing is happening. Momentum works like this. I will use real estate as an example. But the same thing applies to salespeople, politicians, entrepreneurs, inventors, company executives, lawyers, and just about every profession. First, you go out and beat your head against a wall looking for deals and properties with no luck. You keep on doing it, and at the same time, you go out and line up a team of professionals to call on once you have a building or renovation project. Appraisers, surveyors, lawyers, accountants, and contractors. At first, nobody knows you. They don't believe you, because you have never done anything before. They can't tell if you're the real deal or just another fly-by-night operation that will fold up and move on when things get too tough. At first, nothing is happening. With each passing day and each contact you make, you are silently building momentum. You are showing people that you are not going away, and still nothing happens. So you keep that up. Then, one day, something breaks for you. You land an account or sign a deal. You tell all your contacts, and all of a sudden your credibility rises. They start to believe you. You keep on working, and now you are at a somewhat higher level. After a while, you have so much momentum built up that things start to come to you in multiples. 2 or 3 jobs or clients or deals come your way all at once. You tell everybody about this, and your value goes up tremendously. Everybody sees that you have momentum, and they want to be a part of it. What can you do to establish momentum? To get momentum, you must first focus on a specific goal with passion and intensity, as I have previously discussed. Pick something you're very good at, or have the ability to become good at. Start your momentum rolling by becoming very knowledgeable about your chosen field. When I was studying finance at Wharton, the standard courses were great, but they did not fully satisfy my thirst for real-world knowledge. I knew that I wanted to be a big real estate developer, and so in my spare time at Wharton, I studied how to buy and sell real estate. It was not part of the curriculum, but I studied it anyway, and I started creating some personal momentum. Getting a good mentor helps create momentum too. Find someone knowledgeable about your field and make them your friend. Ask their advice. If you have a question about something you do not understand, ask your mentor. If you do not have a mentor that you can meet face to face, find a mentor through your studies or your reading. Find someone who appeals to you and has achieved something you admire and aspire for. For example, if you're interested in architecture, study the careers and lives of great architects, past and present. It's important to give yourself a good foundation first. Many accomplished people will not have the time to devote to novices. Get as much technique and background knowledge as you can on your own. To me, a good mentor is someone who gives opportunities as well as challenges as teaching tools. We all need to know our weak spots as well as our strengths. If you watch The Apprentice, you will notice that personal strengths and weaknesses are often made apparent by the candidates themselves, without me having to point them out. Challenge yourself, critique yourself, and keep moving forward to gain confidence and stamina. My mentor was my father. When I graduated from Wharton, I started putting that knowledge to work in the real world by working for my father on real estate deals. which boosted my momentum significantly. To build momentum, get a job in your field as soon as you can. Work in the mailroom or as a summer intern, whatever you need to do to get your foot in the door and start to establish real-world momentum. It was great working for my father, but I wanted more. A very important point is that to keep the momentum growing, you must continually challenge yourself. I challenged myself in a big way when I took the plunge and moved to Manhattan to start my own business. I took the momentum that I had carefully built while working for my father in Queens and Brooklyn for 5 years and used it to launch my real estate development career in the big-time arena of Manhattan. Then I used the focus of my will and the power of my enthusiasm to build even more momentum. Momentum is like poker chips that you have to keep in the game and keep putting into successively bigger and bigger pots. There's a funny thing about momentum. When you stop, it stops. That's what happened to me in the late 1980s. I rode a wave of momentum to the top of New York's real estate world. I had done my preparatory work, and the timing was perfect. I came on the scene exactly when real estate in New York City was at its low point. I got into the game when the undervalued, bargain basement West Side Penn Central properties came on the market, and nobody but me was interested in it. I got into that deal with no money. After that, the real estate market in Manhattan took off on a 16-year boom. All I ever saw were the good times. I thought it would always be that way. Over those 16 booming years, I had always been intent on one thing, building bigger and bigger momentum. Then I stopped. Business Week came out with a feature article about me that stated, "Everything he touches turns to gold." I believed that the article was true, and I started acting as if the article were true. I went to Paris and enjoyed myself with the other great love of my life, beautiful women, supermodels. I had lost track of reality. I thought real estate was easy. I never imagined that the momentum that had grown bigger and bigger with every deal would ever stop. That's exactly what happened, and it almost destroyed me. That's the other interesting truth about momentum. If you do not keep it growing, it will not just stand still. It will turn on you and take down everything you have built. That's what happened to Bill Levitt, and that's what almost happened to me. What does not kill you makes you stronger. A setback can either, 1, destroy you, or 2, make you stronger. There's an old saying that I believe, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I have the greatest respect for people who have experienced adversity and then come back. I was one of those people in the early 90s. I went through a tough period and learned a lot about myself. And then I came back bigger and better and stronger. It was not unlike what happened to Frank Sinatra in the early 50s. Like me, he lost focus. He took his eye off the ball, and he made some bad decisions. Also, like me, it was beautiful women that had a little something to do with his trouble. But that's another story for another time. Sammy Davis Jr. tells a wonderful story in his book, Yes, I Can, where Sammy, who is on the way up, due in no small part to Sinatra's patronage, sees Frank walking down Broadway all by himself, looking utterly dejected. At the time, Frank was on the skids, having gone from being the biggest singer ever known to a laughingstock, reduced to singing novelty songs. This experience was a wake-up call for Frank. After that, he regained his focus and his success. I can tell a lot about a person by the way they handle difficult situations. I've seen many seemingly tough guys fold under pressure. I've noticed that it is a matter of how you define your setback or challenge. If you admit defeat, then you will be defeated. If you accept that the situation is bad, but you are determined to see it through, then you have a much better chance. It's your choice. It's frightening when bad things happen. I know that from personal experience. I did not let them destroy my confidence. You never really know how bad a situation is going to be. You never know how it's going to turn out. I was in the worst situation imaginable, and when it was all over, it turned out great. I did not know at the time that it was going to end okay, but in my heart and my mind, I defined it as a setback that I could overcome. I had friends who chose to give up on themselves and declare their own defeat. What a stupid thing to do. Of course they never made it through. Never declare yourself beaten. If you fail at something, it's okay. That may be out of your control, but never voluntarily throw in the towel. Always keep fighting. You never know when there is another chance or another great opportunity waiting right around the corner. Roll the boulder up the hill. I had lost my focus, and suddenly I was faced with some major setbacks. The banks were out to get me in a big way. My momentum had come to a standstill. It was terrible, but I did not quit. I kept moving forward while trying to learn from my mistakes. I stayed focused on my work, plans for new deals and new properties, because that's what made me feel good. Working on new projects helped me to regain my momentum slowly but surely, and after a while, things turned around for me in a big way. What I learned from my setbacks is that you have to maintain your focus and keep building your momentum at all times. Your problems can be temporary if you keep your momentum moving forward. Again, it's all in how you look at things and how you define your situation. If you feel that all hope is lost, then it is. If
sé, subir, bajar otra vez. Que estoy con el crew y nos fumamos 2 o 3. Bailamos en la CRG, let's go, a CRG. Ja, dejé, ella se dejó y yo me la llevé. Hacemos el boogie, hacemos el wigiridi. Ella lo pidió y yo sin miedo se lo di. Let's go, I got shooting stars on my teeth. Nikes on my feet make my cipher complete. Cause I'm nice like that, baby I'm cool like that. Dice Mico que rico, que como yo no hay nada. Ya estamos a 30,000 por party. Salí piquetúa, hoy salí de Bulgari. Se dio por el trago y se puso Bulgari. Se vistió de chita, yo que vine de safari. Ma, you know what's up, aquí no hay excusa. Súbete la falda, me gusta esa blusa. Ma, you know what's up, llegué y siempre abusa. Sé que andas en alta, de 2 o 3 la musa. Mucha mami, está ahí en el club, baby, muévelo al revés. Cual yo quiero, yo no sé, subir, bajarlo otra vez. Que estoy con el crew y nos fumamos 2 o 3. Bailamos en la CRG, let's go, a CRG. Ja, dejé, ella se dejó y yo me la llevé. Hacemos el boogie, hacemos el wigiridi. Ella lo pidió y yo sin miedo se lo di. Hello, mami, ¿qué pasó? Te dio la wanna fuck, me habla claro, ¿qué pasó? Mami, qué sé yo, si quieres enviar ping y nos vamos pa'l round 2. Que a mí me enamora como tú me miras. Achinao que parecen de mentira. Ella no tiene type, pa' los dos la huella tira. Esta noche me la llevo, la tengo en la mira. Sé que a mí me enamora como tú me miras. Achinao que parecen de mentira. Ella no tiene type, pa' los dos la huella tira. Esta noche me la llevo, la tengo en la mira. Que mucha mami, está ahí en el club, baby, muévelo al revés. Cual yo quiero, yo no sé, subir, bajarlo otra vez. Que estoy con el crew y nos fumamos 2 o 3. Bailamos en la CRG, let's go, a CRG. Ja, dejé, ella se dejó y yo me la llevé. Hacemos el boogie, hacemos el wigiridi. Ella lo pidió y yo sin miedo se lo di. Let's go, I got
Okay, brand new day, I'm brilliant. Afro hair like William. Don't play, got skill like Brazilian. One day I'm gonna make more than $1 million. Thinking paper, AM to PM, come like Christina Milian. Think twice if you wanna get silly and dumb, I'll send man a box like Gillian. Don't play, I'll send man a box. Ain't no chicken and chicks inside. Don't play my songs, so you ain't got girls. Don't call you a leak if you miss this vibe. Keep to myself and I'm not too hyped, so nobody saw when I dipped inside. Money in the bank if I grip this mic, I'll send man a box, no Ritz inside. Top of the game just falling. What you gonna do with this brand new morning? Tunnel vision, but it might help you. So I didn't see when the hate was forming. Hear my style when I see them drooling. Can't be music, I play no fooling. In the background, chilling, cooling. Could have been different if I put my all in. Okay, brand new day, I'm brilliant.
You ready to fight? Ready? Let's fight!
There's a time whether it is business, career, or a relationship, when it is time to call it quits. Sometimes things happen that make you question it. As long as you're enjoying what you're doing, you're making progress, keep going. Don't let
Ready?
down
Let's go!
self-doubt. You're no longer passionate about it. Then find something to do. My life is never given. I'm always very strict. I always give up on something when it's perfectly complete. There's no other. I know that progress is challenging. There's no one who fits it. But when you give up it, and I'll try to do it. Anybody can do it. I force you to evaluate my weaknesses. Area or a very central terminal. I have very few. The bank would not give me a loan without tax abatement. The city would tax abatement without neither side is fine. I spent many months of negotiating tax and the bank. This means that everybody is going to be happy. Fine, the city agreed people are very generous. I don't believe the bank. They still want to drag their feet in the money. Then, many of the big New York developers got wind of the tax abatement and voted. The project was one of many counting numbers that needed to be tested. I know. However, I kept hammering away and trying to but not 50 but the city, bank, and that still the problem one by one and never quit until anyway, don't be afraid of mistakes and setbacks. Knowledge to build something great to yourself. When you finish the one day, your momentum goes. So great. Stop. What do you do? One, repeat the top. Time, back. Down.
Keep busy, keep busy.
For knowledge. I did a lot, and I still a lot of money away to charity. Warren Buffett, the great investor Warren
Whoa,
over 13 companies. The building of the Gates Foundation, which focuses on local health issues, such as the Gavi Alliance, which distributes vaccines to children and for education, such as the United Negro College Club's Gates Millennium Scholarship. Buffett wants his money to tackle the complex problems that are most difficult.
Are you ready? Let's go!
Faster when they learn by doing. And I am a testament to the knowledge of I only get told after what they do there, I'm learning at it to drop $10,000 in the Empire State Building by using the convention floors that are made from this. So tell the whole world, trusted Christian. We have got protesters from many countries, including Tony Robbins, George Foreman, Robert Kiyosaki, Jim Cramer, and many others. Our association with Donald Trump has put our company on the map and given us life representation. It was a hold on and strap yourself to this rocket called Donald. It's an incredible. Finding a watch of the line. And you will get momentum going. Momentum. Last year, a little more week. Like the possible women's work that actually taking into America. It's still spreading across the world. Just not possible. And look, show, live, and the Los Angeles Times have proclaimed secret conduct cultural phenomena. In a nutshell, the secret tells you how to use supercharged thoughts to propel yourself to success in business and in every aspect of life. I have always been passionate about something. I recognize that the secret has enormous amount of power. And yet, things are already experts in the area. As speakers of the learning and of the welfare, people like Jack Campbell, James May, Paul Langford, and Ethan Coates. It's an huge success, and I am excited to capitalize further on its focus. Now, the learning has teamed up with Jack Campbell. How to get what they want when you're thinking in a certain way. That's it.
You ready to fight? Are you ready to fight? Here we go!
have no momentum. With every action you take, every chance,
Are you ready?
you are built. When momentum reaches its limit, everybody starts setting life at that point. When people see momentum, they want to be part of it. Focus on a specific goal. That you might not when you experience mental challenge. Remember to keep your momentum. Prevent one of the challenges. Never give up on yourself. Reach the top. Like the entire everything you touch is turning to gold. I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest. That's the
Come on now, protect yourself.
believe that you did not have to work. The practice is not. After that article, I did not think, and I did not think. In the budget, from this to this, I take one leg back.
Come on now, protect yourself.
Fighter, after a while, fight seriously. Then out of nowhere, he gets back. In the night, I used to get personal inside. One day, I was walking, and I said to my own wife, "That is anything that you can do for $950,000." Wait, but I am not $150,000, and at least he has money. I would say to myself, "Oh, God, I'm going down." I was not focused mental training. Because from the day I graduated, 21 years I was doing some practice. I felt like I had a practice.
Round up. Come on now, it's over.
Not have it both ways. If I wanted to be the greatest, the amazing knowledge who makes everything register, then I did. I couldn't have one without the other. I decided that I still wanted to be independent and started focusing my energy. In 1991, the world was collapsing. It was so bad in real estate that if a person walked into a building just looking around, we considered it a sign the market was changing. They didn't have to do
ready?
anything, just walk in.
Fight!
They didn't have to buy. Every day, I came up with survive till 95. That statement was a rallying cry that helped me stay calm. After that, I started to really work my hands. Then, my company suspended executive compensation, and it was much better company than it ever was. Some of you asked, what would your mind do? My mindset was the same as my parents. My mindset was great. I started negotiating because I was negotiating. Once of my real estate they did not think, and they were confident. The best thing about being a teacher today was that I learned to get my potential. But education is confidence. Good. I could maintain a mindset very much like this right now. Did you ever get a went back to work and never worked harder ever. I'm still young, and I can find full respect your ability to focus. Andre Agassi, the great tennis player, was known for his powerful forehand and aggressive serve. Andre's box fight, a former boxer, gave Andre paddles, still an eye. Started playing tennis. Agassi was 5,000 points. When Andre was 5 years old,
Are you ready? Are you ready? Come on!
First top-level fight.
Hands high!
His tennis
You ready? Fight!
now my club, National Assembly Center, and its students fight in 2000. Ohio State was the first number one ranked college and the donor. They were unstoppable. Nobody believed them. They were the best ever. But it was announced that Ohio State was to play Florida in a net home. Everyone was involved. That didn't understand. And deserved the Olympic field. Was one Ohio State at Florida. Ohio State, and it was without a doubt the better team. They didn't say that. And everybody was blown up. In their mind, they had their own great win for Ohio State. The only thought they were national champions. They lost to the Texas.
Show me something here.
And not worthy to play. Respected them. Ohio State, Florida surprised everyone by beating Ohio State in a stunning blowout victory. If you want to become successful and stay, you must learn how to focus. Comedian Jim Allen is very successful. Several decades ago, he was not. Allen had a substance problem.
Are you ready?
Since that time,
Fight!
only this is gone. But the system is more than forgiveness. The second one has the big team and the final player Bobby Fischer. That explains enjoying the challenge of focusing. Every successful person has had to swallow the game, and they focus on something. I know other people who see every problem as a bird, and they are defeated before they start. Some people carry around a lot of tension. It just gets in the way. What I was doing the first thing was knowledge of how networks operate and how great they also run related factors. I just feel it I was doing it.
You ready to fight? Are you ready to fight? And fight!
I just worry about great
Are you ready? And let's go. Let's go. I want that. Ready? Let's fight! Ready? Let's fight!
That's crazy.
My parents did not handle it.
Are you ready?
They sent me off.
Let's go!
But I learned, without the training, Like a surfer, you have to learn how to ride the wave. Do your daily, but keep yourself available for special events. And always be ready to turn on a dime when good luck comes. Once Burnett came to me with the idea for The Apprentice, I could have brushed him off without even listening to him, because I was already very busy. When he brought up the subject,